Good afternoon, this is Rich Nelson with Allendale covering the wrap-up commodity comments here. Today is going to be Wednesday. This is March 9th, 2011. Of key interest, of course, starting out the day, we still have problems as far as a worldwide Middle East issue here. The fact is that Gaddafi continues to move over into both the east and western portions. The latest talk is now moving towards the west city right next to Tripoli. So at this point, he is on the offensive, and this is certainly concerning to the market, and has certainly helped the continued liquidation we've seen in the past 3 to 4 days in the grain markets as well. Over on the corn, down 4.5 cents here today for the last trade. Keep in mind for corn at least, this was about 9 3/4 off the day's lows. So while we did have a lower trade and certainly extended the losses from the past 4 or 5 days, we did at least see our first line of people possibly saying enough is enough here for this corn. For news here on the corn, the only thing out there that kind of sticks out was the fact that the Energy Information Administration, the statistics people out of Department of Energy, they did release their weekly ethanol production numbers. Normally these are not looked at too much here by the market. We will point out the numbers were just showed a slight increase versus last week at 883,000 barrels. So a slight increase from last week. The key issue, though, is year to date. Year to date, we've got 17% higher production. So this is certainly very exciting and very good for us. In order to meet USDA's pace from March through August, we can actually drop down to 0.3% lower than last year. So in other words, while we're still running much higher than last year levels, we can actually drop down to even, actually a little bit less, before we really just to meet USDA. So obviously we're doing a great job on ethanol still so far. As far as key issues, of course, USDA report tomorrow. Average trade gas says 675 million bushel old crop. Ending stocks will drop down to 666. So that's the current discussion right there. Over on beans, down 33 cents. Unlike the corn, beans actually finished near the day's lows. They're now about 75 cents off of the last 4 days. They've taken off 75 cents. So quite a big deal there. The trade continues to look at South America as being an issue, and certainly one of our concerns that the trade's starting to pick up now as well is our concerns about domestic usage here, mainly crush. The fact that crush margins are clearly in the red right now, so it's still a concerning issue for us right now on that. For wheat, down 21 cents. Really can't say too much about wheat other than this another day in its continued liquidation out of the wheat. The trade generally more or less feels right now that the drought has ended. It was a nice story for months ago. Even though current conditions haven't changed a whole lot, the trade does feel that the weather pattern is now moving more towards a little more rain and things like that. So this bodes for continued liquidation out of the wheat in the coming weeks. Well, the biggest news of the day, obviously, is going to be cattle. The fact we did trade cash significantly higher today. Nebraska moved cattle on the dress basis up $7 to $8. Live base, Kansas through Texas moved numbers $5 higher in 1 week at 118. Certainly some great gains made on the cattle side there. As far as why is this happening, what's going on? Well, we know that they are going to trade cattle higher here both this week, and we expect that this to continue even next week as well. But obviously the size of the increase is the big surprise here. As far as key issues for the cattle, packers are scrambling to find market-ready cattle. We are seeing many green numbers put on the show list right now, but not many good quality fat-based cattle. And keep in mind, as far as the seasonal supply flow, this is the tightest supply. The tightest supply here, as far as seasonally, is right here in this time frame, mid-March. We're going to see this last for another week through next week, and then as we go into April, we'll start that increase in slaughter that happens in cattle. So for this point, we are still in the tightest supply. This is probably the most manic, most exciting point of this whole rally right now. So certainly keep in mind, as far as the bull market, we obviously have just a little bit more to go, at least through next week, before we can start arguing for higher supplies down the road. April up 272 on the settlement for the pit. Electronic is currently trading up $3. Over on the hogs, kind of obviously a little quieter day. We did see some support coming from cattle. Obviously, if cattle are going to have just an extreme gain today, the hogs will benefit some. So April up 62, kind of a quieter trade overall for the hogs. But certainly big issue for today's action, certainly the cattle. And as I said, we're right now in the heart of the big scary supply time for cattle. Numbers will start to ease out as we get into April here. As far as the big thing right now, obviously, this is the last week, the last chance to get involved with Allendale's acreage survey. We certainly invite you to get a hold of us, whether by email, whether by our website. Take a look at that form we have on there, or simply give us a phone call here, 1-800-262-7538. Get a hold of us, get us those acreage numbers. The more you participate, you yourself right there, participate for us, the better quality numbers we get. So certainly you will benefit from that as well. And that's going on through this Saturday, so please feel free to help us out, and that way we can in turn help you out. We will release our numbers here based on the survey coming out Wednesday at 10 a.m. here. So keep on track of that. This is Rich Nelson. Hope you have a good trading day and a good trading week.